Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. We're going to start making the eccentrics today. Right, so the eccentrics are going to be fitting in here. 4 for the valves and 1 over here, which will be running the waste shaft over here. Let's have a look at the drawing. Right, so we need 4 for the valves. They've got a smaller stroke. And then 1 for the pump. It's got a 1/2 inch stroke. So what I've been doing, I've been umming and ahhing how to make these. And what I've come up with, I'm going to make them out of flat bar. I'll show you. Right, so I've got 30mm 1.25" by 2 inch and 3/4 by 2 inch. Now looking at the drawing, and I've done all the measuring and all that lot, I'm going to stick these together. Get it centered in the 4-jaw chuck and turn it round to the overall diameter of the eccentric. And when I've got it to the right diameter, I'm going to turn down each side, move across, and there'll be enough there to do the next one on and part it off, so on. And then I'm going to move it over in the 4-jaw chuck to do the center. So the center then will be moved over to the center, and then I can bore that out. And when I part it off, it'll still be stuck together. And then I'll be able to drill for the bolts there and counterbore. That's for a 5B8 bolt. So what I'll do is I'll cut 2 pieces off long enough, stick them together. I'm going to use green Loctite. I mean, I've had quite a lot of success. I'll have to degrease these first. I'm going to cut 5 inches off of there, which I calculated, holding it in the chuck, and there'll be enough there to turn the 5 down and allowing for parting off as well. Right, so I'll just get these cut. Right, I've degreased me 2 bits of metal. That's what I use. I buy a litre of acetone. It lasts for ages. Right, so the next thing then, I'll get my green Loctite and glue them together. Right, here we are. Just got to let that dry now. So when it's gone off, you'll see that the join between the 2 pieces of metal will be the join of the eccentric. So what I should be doing is marking the larger one and getting that centered, allowing for the join. Right, so let that dry and then I'll get back to you. Right, so my Loctite's gone off. I nearly messed up because on the drawing The join between the two pieces of metal I got is going to be the center of the holes which are going around the crankshaft. So there's 4 of these. That's got a total of 5/16 throw on it, and the one for the pump is a 1/2 inch throw. So from the center of the hole, which will be that joint of the 2, to the center of the actual turned part, there is 1/4 inch. So on there's the joint of the 2 parts, and that line there is the 1/4 inch. So first of all, I'm going to do this one, mount that into the 4-jaw chuck centered on that line there. I'm going to turn, face off and turn this one, and then I'm going to move it over 1/4 inch, so the center then will be there, which I can then bore that out to size. So let's get that on the lathe. Right, I've got that set up in the 4-jaw chuck, centered on that line there. First thing now I'm going to do is turn it down to, they're all the same diameter, so it's 1 11/16. So let's get on. Right, so a little bit more to go, not much. Once I've done that, I've got to put the shoulder on. But I've got to get to 1.687. So I've got 35 thou to come off. Measure. $1,704. Slowly getting there. A little bit more. Right, so that little shoulder I got to put on there is a 1/16 by a 1/16, which is 0.062 each way. So 0.062 in, 0.062 that way. So I use the digi. Right, that's the depth, the width I mean. Now I'm going to just take that down to not much of a shoulder, but it's enough. I'll just give that a file up, and then I'll get a I think I used my parting tool to do the other side of that. So I'll go enough to do the shoulder and then part it off. Well, I won't part it off, but I should do the shoulder and then I shall move it over and do that hole then. Right, so I've got my little parting tool set up to cut the shoulder 1/16 deep. And then I'll move it over and clear that off a bit. Right, so that's the other side of the eccentric done. Now what I'll do is move the metal over in the 4-jaw chuck 1/4 of an inch this way so it's on the join. And then I'll be able to drill it and bore it to size. Then part it off fully. Beautiful. Right, so I've moved the block over in the chuck 1/4 of an inch, so the centre now is right on the join there. So now I can get on and drill and bore that out to size. So we'll start off with a centre drill. Deep enough. I'll drill that out a bit bigger before I get a boring bar there. just get a boring bar in there. Right, so I've got a boring bar there. Don't know if you can see that. Just slowly bore that out now to 11/16. Six, 8, 7 I want. 6, 8. 6, 8, 7. Spot on. I think we'll leave that at that. Right, now I have to part that off now. So I'm going to return that to center again. Right, so I've moved that back in the center so I can part that off. Lovely. Right, I've got this set up to part that off now, slowly. I have shortened this a little bit, allowing for the next 4 to be turned up on there, because that's what the racket was turning, and that's too far out really. We'll see how we get on with parting this off now. There we are. Right, so there we are. I knew that one would break off, come unstuck, but that's fine. That'll glue back on later on, because the next thing to do on there now, on this one, this is for the pump, is to drill and counter bore for, I'm not sure, I have to have a look at the drawing, and then drill and tap that one so that can be bolted together. On the ones for the valve, I'm not sure about this one for the pump. There's a taper pin got to go in, so once you've got the timing on the valves, so these won't move in use, you have a tapered pin, and then it's ground, or you file it flush to that, and then that will stop that moving in use. I think before I do the other 4 for the valves, I'm going to chop that in half. I've got plenty of material there to do that in 2, and I might have to find myself a better parting off tool. I don't like this parting off tool. Right, so I'm going to cut that in half and do 2 at a time. Right, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to set this up in the milling machine to drill those 2 holes there and tap. So the first thing I'm going to do, use this end cutter to drill the counter bore, so the head of the Allen screw can be below the surface of the eccentric. So let's get that set up. Right, so I'm just going to bore down through there slowly. Right, now I've created a flat in there. I'll put the chuck in now and use a drill. Put a centre drill in, drill the tapping size hole, and bore down a bit more with a normal drill. Right, now I'll put the tapping size drill in. I'm just drilling the counter bore there for the head of the Allen screw. I'll just check that that's deep enough. Oh yeah, lovely. Right, so that's counterbored so that the Allen screw head is below the surface of the eccentric. Now I'll get on and put a tap in there. Lovely. Right, I can get a screw in there now. Right, just going to get a Allen screw in there. Right, so I've got a Allen screw in there that's helping hold that together. Now I can do this other hole here. So I'll just do that. I'll get back to you. Right, here we are. What I'll do, I'll just put that hole in there for the tapered pin. I got some pins coming and I've got a small taper reamer. So I'll just drill through there. And then we'll have a look at putting it on the crankshaft. Right, that's for the little tapered pin later on. I think we can now try it on the crankshaft. Right, so that is the pump eccentric done. So by the next video I'll have the other four that fit in there for the valves. Have those machined, and then what we'll do is we'll start machining the straps. So there's 5 of these. That'd be interesting. So please subscribe to my channel and join me as I build a 2-inch scale Fowler Showmans Traction Engine.